From brain injuries, post-concussion syndrome, to even athletes, brain mapping can help improve our brain's functionality in a few short months. Here to fill us in is Dr. Dan Slone. Welcome, Dan.
Thanks for having us.
So I saw this term, neuroplasticity. What is that?
Well, modern neuroscience has taught us that we now have more understanding of what our brain is capable. Neuroplasticity is the brain's amazing ability to reorganize itself and get stronger by forming new neural pathways. And essentially it's the muscle building of the brain that allows us to change, adapt, and get stronger to increase brain function.
And now they're using this science as a way to treat things like ADHD. Tell me about how they're using it.
Well, you first start with the QEYJ, which is an objective evaluation of your brain, which will tell you your strengths and weaknesses.
So it's reading your brain.
Absolutely, yes. So it reveals how the different areas of your brain are working together and communicating. It also identifies abnormal brainwave patterns that are associated with the neurologic disorders such as autism, ADHD, attention and focus issues, auditory processing disorders, sensory processing disorders, post-concussion syndrome, anything from A to Z. So it takes the objective data and specifically devises a neurofeedback training program that's specific to your brain. So it goes beyond the symptoms to understand the underlying causes of these neurological disorders.
Right, so they're reading your brain, they're trying to find, I guess, triggers or maybe patterns in your brain. Who's a good candidate for this? Who can benefit from this type of work?
Anybody that wants to increase brain function. I mean, we work with a wide range of children that suffer from neurodevelopmental disorders, from autism spectrum disorders, ADHD, anxiety disorders, auditory processing disorders, sensory processing disorders, sleep issues, memory issues, and post-concussion syndrome. So we also work with adults, that we work with students that want to perform better in the classroom, athletes that want to get into the zone, doctors, lawyers, musicians, yoga practitioners that want to enhance mindfulness, tech execs that want to increase peak performance.
Well, I mean, it makes sense, right? Because our brain controls all these functions, so if you can tap into it and figure out exactly how it's working, what it's responding to. Now, speaking of that, we're doing a demo right now. We have Bianca over here who is currently having her brain mapped. So tell me what's going on.
So essentially what's going on is there are 19 different sensors that are monitoring her brainwave activity and patterns. And how neurofeedback works, it's a non-invasive way to strengthen the areas of your brain that are not functioning properly. So, like I said, the QEEG identifies abnormal brainwaves and patterns. So neurofeedback works by providing positive reinforcement. When Bianca is in her optimal state, reinforcement is provided to her brain. So, and that's in the form of music, video games, or a movie. So the positive reinforcement immediately tells her when her brain is in the optimal zone. And that's how we get neurofeedback to work.
And the cap she's wearing, so that kind of transmits all the information.
Yes. So the 19 different electrodes are monitoring her brainwaves. So as long as she's in her optimal range, she'll get the feedback.
And she's been doing this for a while, so are you guys noticing any improvements with the goals that she set?
Absolutely. She was very bright before, but she's able to focus more, read better, and her athletics have really increased as far as sports.
That's awesome. And you mentioned post-concussion, so for, I guess, recovery for concussion, does this work?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, the QEEG will identify the abnormal brain waves and patterns that are associated with post-concussion syndrome. Research suggests that QEEG is highly sensitive to identifying post-concussion syndrome, and research also suggests that neurofeedback therapy improves the cognitive imbalances that occur along with the post-concussion symptoms as well.
Wow, that's fascinating science, I tell you. So this is like a family affair. There's 4 of you brothers, and you have locations here in the Sacramento region as well as in the Bay Area?
Yes, absolutely. We have Rockland and one in Fremont, so we have the Bay Area as well, yes.
And again, this is good for anybody. You guys kind of specialize in adolescents here?
Yeah, we do. Again, it's A to Z. I mean, if you want to increase your brain function, this is the best way, because if you're not looking at the brain, how are you going to know? We all have struggles. It's important to understand that the children aren't the only ones that have these developmental and these neurologic struggles. We as adults do as well. The prevalence of adult related ADHD is on the rise in this country. I think over 3 million people will be diagnosed this year. So again, if you're not looking at the brain, how are you going to know what's going on with it?
Great information. Where can people go for more info?
Dynamic Brain Solutions. We're dynamicbrainsolutions.com. We're on Facebook as well.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you so much for giving us this information and joining us this morning.
Great. Thanks for having us.
This interview involves commercial content. The products and services featured appear as paid advertising.